And you're welcome back. I've got MM here with me, and for a gripping conversation, we have with us Michael in our studio here. He is a prolific storyteller and also an alumni of the New York Film Academy and entertainment entrepreneur who wrote, produced, and also directed The Bag. We've been showing you pieces of that on Since Morning, and also the Spill or Drink Show, and was executive producer for
Road to Blow documentary.
I saw that. You're welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thanks for
Can I
being
start
here.
by talking about Road to Blow? Where did that idea come from?
So it wasn't my idea. So it was Taiwan.
Adeyemi.
Yes. So a young, really versatile producer, talent manager. So he's also the talent manager for
Nse.
Yes. So he came up with this idea, working with artists, working with talents, and it's like there's so many obstacles to young people who want to get into the industry. So he started documenting their journeys, looking at the lives that some of them have to live, and that entire thing. That's how.
It was a very interesting documentary because it seemed like as if the answer to the documentary was the question itself, because you have to blow to be relevant. And you want to be relevant, so you're walking away to blowing. So I'm like, very confusing.
So the documentary, I think, wasn't there to answer the question.
It wasn't, was it?
Right, there's no one road to blow, right? So people have different paths, and the struggles that they go through, and in that quest, I think that's what's
Been like a couple of ideas that has been pitched to you. What was it about this one that got you to invest in it, to be interested in it?
It's the people.
Yeah.
It's the people. So it's the real stories, real human beings, and the things they go through. Sometimes you hear, oh, there's XYZ in the industry. People need to go through this to get into the industry. But when you meet people who this has happened to her, this has happened to him. So you meet the guy who came all the way from Kaduna to Lagos to sing, to rap, and then he couldn't make it, so he had to do welding during the day.
Yeah, I saw that story.
Rapping in the evening. So when you see this kind of stories, you're like...
You're inspired.
You
You also know that you don't get there overnight.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Put in work. So if you're going to go that path, you also have to put in...
I mean, and also you had stories of people who were established, actors who tell you maybe 15 years of struggling, getting
auditions,
2-bit roles, auditions, staying up all night, practicing, rehearsing their monologues, and then one big film, and that's
that was it. Yeah.
One big break. That's it.
You're also into the cinema culture in Nigeria here as well. I mean, with all the work that you put out and everything, I mean, that's your business, getting eyeballs on the material that you put out. I've got a very unique look or perspective on the cinema culture in Nigeria. And I think that the cinema culture is one that is, well, I don't know, maybe because of the COVID. It's kind of like phasing out with all the streaming services that we are having these days and options and all of that. Now, being someone who's inside of that industry, what do you think? Am I correct?
I think you're wrong.
Oh.
I think you're wrong, and I have the numbers to prove it.
Right.
Yes, COVID happened. It happened all over the world. But the cinema experience is unique. It's an experience you can't get in your home. So you have this large hall, blacked out, and you have this massive screen in front of you, and you are sharing these experiences with people, with loved ones, with absolute strangers, right? And the beauty of it, the magic is where you and complete strangers are able to find a connection in the story on screen, and you share those emotions, you laugh, I mean, I've seen people cry in cinemas. That magic cannot go away. That magic cannot be taken away, right? So yes, COVID happened, it looked like it was dying, but open the screens and people will come. I'll give you an example. Last year, 2021, the year after COVID, we had Omogeto the Saga. That movie made 635 million naira.
Wow.
So let's just put it in numbers terms. So if it was 1,000 naira per ticket, think of the number of people who actually went to see this film. I know people who saw that movie 3 times. Right? Because of the shared experiences, they could relate with the story they found. They saw themselves in those characters. Okay? Now, right now we have King of Thieves.
Yeah, King of Thieves is a
Doing
big one.
fantastically well as well.
I haven't seen it, unfortunately. I've been on set. But, I mean, I've seen the numbers. Right now, it should have crossed 200 million. Okay?
Wow. It has, actually.
It has crossed 200 million. And this tells you that the cinema culture isn't going anywhere.
So
Yeah, I don't mean to, sorry, darling.
No,
I don't mean to
darling.
undermine the cinema culture here in Nigeria. A lot of people, or some people, may not agree with you, especially because we also see that the streaming platforms, especially, you know, is also giving Nollywood that global recognition.
International
awareness. Yeah, and then, you know, some of this Nollywood are like, you know what, I would rather my movie is on this
a streaming platform
than in the cinemas, where even some people may not even appreciate it.
Okay, I think it's a balance.
Okay.
Okay, it's a balance. Yeah, the streaming platforms are coming in. Netflix has been here for several years. Amazon coming in. HBO, Hulu, Showmax. I mean, they're coming in and they're coming in heavy, which is a fantastic thing for the industry. I mean, if there could be 20 of them, better, right? Because competition is always good for the producer. Yeah. Also in Hollywood, there are times last year when certain movies went to both cinemas and streaming at the same time. Yeah. So it's not a static industry. The industry is evolving.
Dynamic.
It's dynamic, right? So it will find a balance. But what I will say to you is that, yes, the streaming platforms are coming. A lot of movies are going straight to streaming. Yeah. A lot of series, a lot of movies, TV shows are also going straight to streaming. There are movies that have gone to cinema in Nigeria that are also now, you know, being licensed and all that. It's wonderful for everybody. Okay, I see it as a positive for everybody. I don't think one takes away from the other.
Okay.
I think the global exposure raises awareness of our craft. Okay. And the better the craft we do going forward, the more that can translate even to local box office.
I mean, pick your brain on that one. Now, the better the craft we're doing, the more it translates into these different platforms and all of that. So you, as an executive producer, when you are going to these efforts...
Festivals, you mean?
Festival? No, I'm talking about now the art itself. If you're going to if you're going to say, I'm going to be a part of this process... Project, exactly. Okay. What do you do, or what do you make sure is inside of that the mix of that ingredients?
That element
that's going to be broad enough to serve both for the cinema audience and the streaming platforms. And even go on, I don't know if people are still buying CDs off of shelf anymore. What's that element?
Incidentally, yes. In the East, people are still buying VCDs.
Yeah.
Across West Africa, people are still buying VCDs. It's a massive market.
So what ties...
Still massive.
It's massive. We overlook that market, but we forget that not everybody can afford the data. For streaming. Not everybody can afford the 2,500 for cinemas. And remember also, we only have 270 screens in Nigeria.
270?
Yeah. Screens, not cinemas.
Yeah, I know.
Actual screens, 270. So there's a hard ceiling, okay, to how many people you can get into the cinemas. If we had 1,000 screens, then we could have greater numbers, greater visibility. But the reality now is that, anyway, let's not go into that. I want to talk about how TV could drive our movie industry, but that's a conversation.
Another conversation.
Go back to my original question.
So to go back to the original question is, the core thing for me is the story. It's the story. What story are you trying to tell? Then the second thing is, who is your audience? Who is your audience? You can't make a movie for everybody.
Yeah. There will be haters.
Now, talking about movies, you are currently on set of The Origin.
Yes, The Origin.
What is it about this movie that compelled you to be in it and, you know, to be a part of it?
Okay. It's an urban legend origin story. I don't know if you know the urban legend of Lady Koi Koi.
Oh, yes.
I saw, oh my God, that was what it was about.
Yes.
Oh, I went to a boarding school.
You went to a boarding school, okay, so you know.
Oh my God.
I'm so excited.
Yes, I am.
So that answers you.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So I can imagine that coming into screen and that effect.
That's reaction, yes.
Wow.
So that's it. That's the element.
So that's what you look for.
Ah,
yes.
You have such eyes. You have good eyes.
It's okay.
Oh,
They've already casted plenty.
All right. So let's see more of Michael's projects showing up shortly.
Oh, that's so...
What would you do if you found a bag filled with millions in Naira?